this red line as a director. So you can see this is your glass plate. So the gray color is actually a glass plate where you sandwich your sample. Okay, so the director of your sample, if it's parallel to the surface of your glass slide, this is planar alignment. Whereas for homeotropic alignment, the director of your liquid crystal sample is perpendicular to the glass surface. Okay. Question number 8. So this is on magnetic external perturbation. Okay. Explain how paramagnetic and diamagnetic materials are affected by magnetic field. So in paramagnetic materials, okay, mostly we found it in transition metal complexes, inorganic compound usually, due to the presence of unpaired electron. So when you have paramagnetic materials as your sample for liquid crystal study, this material will move to the region of higher magnetic field, hence the chi value will be positive value. As for diamagnetic materials, okay, such as organic compounds, so organic compounds usually don't have unpaired electron, right? So in diamagnetic materials like organic compounds, this material will move to the region of lower magnetic field, hence the chi value will be negative value. So I hope you can differentiate between the paramagnetic and diamagnetic materials. Okay. Question number 9. State the full expression for an isotropy permittivity, referring to the Onsager theory. I think in this question, we started to apply electric field. Okay. Subsequently, describe how the sign of the dielectric anisotropy, delta epsilon, is determined. So, first part, you give the full equation for Onsager theory and isotropic permittivity, which is given by the following equation. The electric field that is parallel minus perpendicular will give you the dielectric and isotropy, delta epsilon, which is equal to NHF divided with epsilon naught multiplied with S in bracket the anisotropy plus F plus mu and etc. here. Okay, so once you give the full equation, you can give the definition for each term. Okay, delta epsilon referring to the dielectric anisotropy, delta alpha from here. Okay, longitude. Okay, so this is delta alpha is the anisotropy in the molecular polarizability, and number of molecules per unit volume, F, field factor, reaction field factor, H is the, H here, okay, H is cavity factor, okay, theta is the angle between the total dipole moment, mu, okay, mu is the total dipole moment and the long molecular axis, and it is being represented by this diagram. So S is the orientational order, where beta is the angle between the long molecular axis. So give equation and define the equation. Next question, describe how the sign of delta epsilon is determined. So from this equation, the first term actually referring to this part related to the anisotropy. So the first term is the anisotropy of the induced polarization, which arises due to the displacement of electrons by the action of electric field. Whereas the second term, referring to this part, okay, describe the anisotropy of the orientation polarization. In the first term, induced polarization. Okay, in orientation polarization, which is connected with the orientation of the permanent molecular dipole in the direction of the electric field by considering the respective orientational order. So it depends on the theta, on the angle for the second term. So we can say that in general, let's say you have a nematic liquid crystal formed by calamitic shaped molecule. Okay, the value of the delta alpha, which referring to this part, first term, okay, will be positive, and the dipole moment will be equal to 0 to represent a non-polar molecule. Hence, it will give you delta epsilon positive. As for the second term, the angle, which relates with the angle, okay, let's say the angle, if it's at magic angle, 54.74 degree, it implies that the dipole moment contributes equally to the parallel and perpendicular electric the epsilon, okay. But if the angle is less than the magic angle, the second term will be positive value, okay. And if the angle is larger than the magic angle, it will give the second term as negative value. So you can the delta epsilon value. So the last question, this is on elastic deformation. State the fundamental elastic deformation to describe the crystal defect in the liquid crystal phase. Explain the experimental design to measure the deformation constant K11, K22, and K33. So the fundamental elastic deformation are display, okay, which is the deformation constant represented by K11, the twist, K22, and bend, K33. So this drawing represent how you set up the experimental design to measure the deformation constant. Or you also can explain this way, okay? In splay, okay, elastic deformation, K11, the cell with a uniform alignment is prepared and then open like a hinge, okay? For twist elastic deformation, K22, the cell with a uniform alignment again is prepared. Then the top plate, okay, the top one is rotated through a 90 degree so that the direction of rubbing on the two plates are orthogonal to each other. For the bend, K33, the cell with homeotropic alignment. So unlike the first two, for bend is homeotropic alignment. So I hope by now you know what it meant by homeotropic alignment. It's prepared and then open like a hinge. Okay. The director is subject to an increased bend deformation because it must remain orthogonal to the one. Okay. Don't forget for today's attendance. And also next week will be the test, the written test for this course. For my part, it will cover until lecture 6. Okay. It's e-invigilation means that we have to turn on your camera. It will take around 40 minutes and it contains 10 questions. So 5 objective question and 5 subjective question. Okay. The details of the test I will post in the WhatsApp group. Okay. And one more thing, on top of your test, okay, I would like to start to brief on alternative assessment 2, which is a group assessment. So in this group assessment, it will consist of 3% per group, and the carry mark is 15% to your final grade. Okay, so in this assessment, you are going to make a video based on PowerPoint voiceover. Okay, you can have visual as well, but make use of PowerPoint and convert it into a video for a duration 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, the topics, you have to choose one topic. So actually this topic are based on lecture 7 and lecture 8. So you can go through lecture 7 and lecture 8 notes. Okay, choose one topic per group. Okay, first come, first serve. So these are the 5 topics, just select one. So how to choose your group member? So if you go to Spectrum, on the announcement part, okay, point number 3, I have post a Google Sheet link for you to choose your group member. Okay, let me share how it's look like. So if you go to Spectrum and click the Google Sheet link, this is what you will see. Don't forget to sign in to any Google account for you to edit and fill in. So select a topic. Each topic is limited to 2 groups only. Okay, for example, twisted pneumatic display, only 2 groups will make a video on it about it. Okay. When you choose your group members, okay, write down your name, write down the name, and select a group leader. So label SL for those who is going to become the group leader. So the deadline to form a group is by 9 May. Okay. So I think I will post on Spectrum officially the question for alternative assessment 2. But basically, this is what assessment 2 is all about. Okay. And don't forget to form a group by 9 May. And the deadline for assessment 2 is 16 June. Refer to your e-learning schedule. Okay. I think I still follow that schedule. Is there any question? Tak ada soalan?
Doctor, where can I get this spreadsheet?
The spreadsheet, Spectrum. Spectrum kan? Nama dia Spectrum lah. Spectrum, nampak tak yang warna biru that I announced on Google Meet link? Number 1, Google Meet link. Number 2, I announced alternative assessment 1 available. And then point 3. It's a link to the Google Sheet. Warna biru.
Alright, ada tu.
Okay.
Ada.
So start to form a group. Okay. So I will officially post assessment 2 question. And gentle reminder, don't forget the deadline for your individual assessment. Okay. Please strictly follow that and email to me your infographic. Okay. I think that's all. Get ready for your test. Okay, Izzati Syairah. Okay, I will also post on WhatsApp group jugalah for the Google Sheet. Okay, see you next week for your test.